Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for sure, and it's they made what into a TV series. You know what it is, it's Donkey Kong Country, although we're now in season 2. It's season 2, the last season of this show. This is episode 27 overall. Hooray for Holly Kongo Bongo, written by Terry Saltzman. Are you hoping for something different as we start season 2? Abandon all hope. Although, there is a notable animation shift.
Yep.
It's less cartoony, more computer graphics than ever before.
Yeah,
I really noticed it.
Yep.
We begin seeing DK lifting some weights outside the barrel factory, stating that he hopes his feat of strength will make Candy notice him. And I was like, huh? What?
I've even done that old especially the
But aren't you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Well, yeah.
I was really confused. She comes out reading the magazine and seems to be in love with an actor in it called, wait for it, Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was just like, good God. Good God.
It is.
You're laughing, yeah. She shows DK and DK wonders what he has that he doesn't have, which Diddy is all too willing to point out at this point, so that's quite funny. Bluster comes outside and demands that Candy get back to work before heading off to get Funky to deliver a parcel for him. I thought you had, like, rockets for that.
Yep.
Bluster goes to Funky, who refuses as he's no longer flying. Instead, he's now writing screenplays. Yeah. Funky plans to be a movie star, and Bluster thinks he can get on the action. Funky then tells him about a screenplay for a movie called Kongo Bongo. So Casablanca joke there. Yeah. A romantic thriller and a disaster movie roll into one. Bluster manages to convince Funky into making him executive producer and director. So we're doing this kind of episode.
Yep.
Afterwards, he is scouting for locations and runs into DK and Diddy. DK laughs at Bluster, but Diddy points out, look, Candy will be impressed. So DK tries to butter Bluster up. All the noise gets Cranky out, who shouts at them as per usual. However, when Bluster leaves and leaves telling DK to come by tomorrow to audition, Cranky overhears and seems to want to be part of it. Everyone's got movie fever, basically.
Yep.
Singing a horrendous song called I'm Gonna Be a Star, which does have DK and Diddy joining eventually, but this was a skipper for me. I was like, oh, that's bad. When it finally ends, we get to the jungle where Candy and Diddy meet and talk about the movie. Candy plans to audition and she runs off excitedly. Guess who overheard this? Clump and Crusher, who report back to K. Rool. K. Rool decides he wants to be part of it too, so plans to audition, which surprises Clump, who expected a plan to steal the coconut. But I was like, you know what? Something different,
yes, exactly,
no coconut. I wasn't convinced. I was like, it's probably going to come back into it.
At some point.
The next day, Bluster was auditioning the apes and the reptiles and gives roles to Candy only, DK in particular humiliating himself. Bluster was upset that he won't be able to find his leading man for his film, but then K. Rool turns up. Bluster, seemingly having never seen K. Rool before, decides that he's perfect for the role. This really weird, this weird reset here.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got basically the first season didn't even matter.
It was really odd because he acts like he's the first time he's ever seen K. Rool.
Yep.
DK is disgusted and Bluster offers DK one more chance for a different role. DK runs off to tell Candy and she tries to guess who he means when he tells her to guess. She guesses everyone but DK, who reveals that he's been the film's villain. He then breaks down begging her to teach him how to act. She tells him to try method acting and describes it in song form called Be Bad. Like if you're going to be the villain, pretend to be a villain.
Yep.
Part of the way through the song, it switches to K. Rool singing, though. So DK decides to take on a more K. Rool style as filming gets underway. K. Rool is having trouble pretending that he likes Candy, so Bluster suggests he thinks of her like the coconut. And it seems to remind K. Rool what he wants overall. So, like I said, it ain't a reset, though, because of things like that.
Yep.
Really, really odd way of doing this episode.
Yeah.
He rushes off as DK comes along pretending to be K. Rool, the Clump and Crusher. The actual K. Rool comes along and gets angry when DK keeps pretending to be him. Diddy tells DK to calm down as he's being too much like K. Rool. Everyone leaves and K. Rool notes that no one is protecting the coconut. Great. It's back to this. Diddy and DK are practicing the scenes but keeps getting his line wrong. He decides he wants a banana, so drags Diddy off to get one. Through the camera, we see K. Rool and his goons sneaking into Cranky's hut. After, DK's scene is coming up, where he is to sneak in and steal the coconut. Action! DK goes inside and finds the coconut gone. Uh-oh. Oh, I said like, oh my god, panic stations, but it's Donkey Kong Country.
Yep.
Sometime after, everyone is inside the hut gathered around the empty coconut case. K. Rool points out that DK has been behaving badly, and he was the one who did find it last. So K. Rool being a right little smarmy git here.
Yep.
DK points out that he was acting, but apparently nobody believes him now. And Cranky banishes him to the White Mountains. I'm like, this again?
Yep.
You guys are the worst. As soon as like one thing goes wrong, you're like, well, DK, get out of here.
Yep.
But again, DK doesn't even pop a fight. He just goes.
Walks off.
In the mountains, DK accidentally throws a snowball at Eddie. Not Eddie. He's the worst. Who calls DK funny, which seems to convince DK to go back and stand up for himself.
Finally.
Filler.
Yeah.
Filler,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah,
Filler.
exactly, yeah.
He goes to Bluster first, for some reason, but finds no one at the factory. Why would you go to Bluster? He does find the camera, though, and decides to watch some of his scenes. And guess what he ends up seeing? The proof of his innocence. And then he melts it.
Yep.
He ends up burning it and melting it. So, no proof.
Nope.
Elsewhere, it looks like Funky has given up on his dream of being a screenwriter as he throws his typewriter away in front of Diddy. It hits an arriving DK, though, who is pretending to be Bluster now. Even though DK looks nothing like Bluster, he somehow seems to convince them, just by sounding like Bluster. And gets Diddy to round up the cast for the final scene. And he then sits down to finish the movie. Okay? Okay.
Yep, yeah.
The final scene is to take place in K. Rool's lair as DK, pretending to be Bluster, arrives and tells K. Rool that the scene is specific to him. The scene involves K. Rool opening his vault to prove his love for candy, and it reveals that he has the crystal coconut. Realising the jig is up, the lizards try to run for it with the coconut. DK is able to knock them out though and get the coconut, revealing his true identity to everyone. They're like, oh, that was DK all along? My goodness me. He then shares the final line of the movie, kissing Candy before taking a bow. Finally, in Bluster's factory, everyone is gathered to watch the completed film, but it is so boring, everyone falls asleep. Ha ha ha.
Just like that episode.
It is Donkey Kong Country. If you were hoping for something massively different, an improvement in quality, because let's be honest, most episodes fall in there alright to decent category. There's never really been anything that's like, wow, that was great.
Yep.
And this continues that trend.
Yeah,
it's got a few more amusing moments, I think, like overall.
I think it's just it was okay. Again, there was no need for the coconuts.
Of course,
they could have left that one out. It could have just been about the movie alone.
Do you not think though? At least they utilised the coconut well in the story.
They used it a lot better. I mean, none of this like stupid magic powers in the coconut and nothing. But it's what we're expecting with the show anymore. To be honest, I mean. No,
it is what it is. There is low expectations. I go in, I'm writing the notes, I have a 20-odd minute show to write about, and I'm not expecting to ever really be blown away. I wonder if you're a kid who watched this weekly, at what point did your attention span start to drift? Or were you, constantly captivated by this week by week?
As a young child, I would say probably yes. The colours, I don't know.
It depends on the age, I think, more than anything else. Because while we don't watch them like 10 in a row, we do watch them in bulk. And so obviously that is a bit of a problem, really, if you think about it. Because then you really start to bleed into one another.
Yep.
But we have seen worse episodes. Yes. More boring episodes. And I do think this one at least had a few comedic moments.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And to be honest, Damon, I'm really used to these characters now. And I'm really used to them. They're just like, oh, it's them. Yeah. The issues with it are probably the bits at the point earlier where it's almost like it seems to reset, where Donkey Kong wants Candy to notice him, but then later on they're perfectly as they normally are, and then Bluster doesn't seem to recognise K. Rool, which is weird as fuck as well. But
I think that's the whole because of the whole acting thing. Cause obviously,
possibly,
because obviously Donkey Kong was Bluster.
Possibly, it's not worth too much analysis, to be honest. That is Donkey Kong Country, episode 27. Hooray for Holly Kongo Bongo. Got any thoughts and you know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. games, horror, and heavy metal. What else is life for?